No more fake diplomacy that make longer decisions. In the meantime, the planet is in fire. What we need is a real commitment, concrete action, and revolutionary changes before our species disappear, as was said before by Fidel Castro Ruz in 1992 on Rio de Janeiro conference. Today, 30 years after of that claim, we are not facing a future threat. We are living the environmental collapse. We are not talking about a heightening of degrees temperatures. We are on the edge of something that is going to finish with our life, and that is itself a fake collective failure of this international system. Beyond the cool numbers that we have discussed in here, the effects are in front of us. The ice breaking, desertification, loss of fertile soils, extreme colds, forestal fires, torrential rains and hurricanes that threaten communities in the Caribbean, the Amazon, Africa, and the Pacific. All this has a cost. The capitalist savage model, imperialism, hungry of oil, that instead of correcting itself to stop the climatic change, it is becoming furious, more furious. That imperialism is not sending ships to the Caribbean to help with the Caribbean, but to threaten and to take hold of the resources of our sovereign nations, as in Venezuela that is daily threatened with the only objective to steal the resources. The most deadly, powerful country in the world that is threatening Latin America with the only goal to get our oil. The big transnational enterprises acting as parallel potencies that take sovereign territories with impunity. That is the case of the ExxonMobil that functioning in a sea that is not limited. They are taking some resources that do not belong to them without any respect to the sovereignty and international justice. That is not inversion and development. That is robbing and defeating international rights in threatening this region. Mr. President, the speech of the energetic transition promoted by the West country, it is a fake thing. It is not a transition to sustainability, but to a new way of domination. A transition that course, control, and technology and exclude South countries, that takes their knowledge, their energetic sovereignty, and their right to development. That in reality, this transition do not consume less energy, but more. The energetic balance is today more negative than a decade before. Every unit of energy that is produced under this new model demands more fossil energy, and at the same time impose sanction and restriction technology to the countries that don't submit to that kind of independence. That is not climatic justice. That is neocolonialism, energetic. And if we add to the manipulation of the financial international system where funds to mitigate the change never arrive to the countries that need it the most, then we have to say clearly the policy and the environmental policy have failed. From conference in Stockholm 1972, crossing to Kyoto, Rio to Paris, we have accumulated numerous declarations, alarms, promises, and commitments, but the documents are multiplying, and commitments are not fulfilled. Today, we have a more poor world. All these wars in the Mid East have a common denominator: natural resources. Because the oil is the main source for capitalism, and that is why they decide to rob it with blockade and sanctions. Venezuela has resisted the besiege, but has not renounced to the solidarity. When the peoples in the Caribbean, when Jamaica, Cuba, were hit recently by hurricanes, there was Venezuela, together with the ALBA countries, giving help and rebuilding. We did it through Petrocaribe, an initiative of integration, energetic integration that was attacked by sanctions from imperialism because it represented an alternative model with solidarity and sovereignty. Venezuela defends a social model, inclusive, ecological, and solidarity, where the human being is the center and not the trade. A model that put the wellness and existence of humanity over luxury of the corporation. A model where development goes together with the preservation of the natural, and every people is respected how to deal with the resources. As Bolivarians, we defend life and the level in the university. 2 centuries back, Simón Bolívar, the liberator, protected mountains, rivers, and woods, anticipating the principle of environmental sovereignty that today we're speaking about. That legacy guides us to protect nature. It's not a symbolic gesture. It is a patriotic gesture and memorial one. Today, from Venezuela, we are calling the world to build a real transition, energetic transition, just and sovereign and human. Venezuela believe in an energetic transition, sovereign, justice, and solidarity. Believe in the South-South cooperation, open science, agroecology, sustainable justice, and a multilateralism real one, not subordinated to the corporations. Let's join together just our effort for economy, energy, and ecology to change the imperialism for a new system with solidarity, justice, and climatic justice. I want to close my intervention citing to our Hugo Chávez, commander, in Copenhagen in 2009, when he said, I quote it, "Let's be able to make this land not the grave of humanity. Let's make this land a heaven, a life heaven for peace, of friendship, and brotherhood for all the humanity, for the human species." Thank you very much.